I had people tell me that. Now, so here's the thing. So what happens is he's framing people that, you really weren't in a position to fight your case. You didn't have the financial resources. You use what, a public defender?
Mm-hmm.
So you use a public defender. He's a crooked bastard, in my opinion. The whole public defender. Jackson County, Marianna, Florida, is just a stone's throw, an hour away from Panama City. The concept of public defender comes out of Gideon versus Wainwright, which occurred in Panama City, Florida in the 1960s. That case led to the public defender system. But the public defender in Panama City, which is over this region, offices with the state attorney's office. They're in the same building. They're all crooked. They're all cooking a stew. And this is what happened in my case. I'm sure you don't want to hear all my stories. I got a lot of them. In my case, Laura Walquist, crooked attorney, she was the prosecutor. And they tried to scare me, boo gang, saying, she's got a 100% conviction rate. You're going to be in trouble. And I'm like, not me. I think she's going to be in trouble before it's over with. She's crooked. They got nothing they can make. There's nothing here. They're framing me. And I think they had a scheme. So I had a public defender. My public defender was the same guy you use for public defender. The public defender, I asked him, I said, hey, why aren't you working on this? I've given you all kind of information that demonstrates that this is a farce. And he told me, he says, I get paid the same no matter what I do. I get $700, win, lose, or draw. All I had to do was take your case. I got $700. Winning's not my concern. It's my concern. I told him, I said, I'm not trying to bribe you or anything else. I just need to know what your incentive is to get off your ass and do something. I terminated your attorney in open court, turned to him and turned to the judge and said, look, I could do nothing as good as he does nothing. Get him out of here. Get him out of my sight. He doesn't like me for that reason. And a few others. I filed a civil grievance against the same attorney with the Florida bar. The Florida bar came back and said that they had no jurisdiction because he works for the state. So he's allowed to just incarcerate people. Here's the thing. I went to another person who was a legitimate public defender in that region. Very nice guy. I would recommend him to anybody. But he's straight. He's the only straight guy in that county. I like him. He's hard, he's fast, he's straight. Straight attorney. Matter of fact, business kind of guy. I like it that way. I went to him and said, hey, can you take this case, get it off his end? He says, hold it. He says, Guy Green's one of the highest rated attorneys in the state. I said, how can that be? He opposes Laura Walquist every single day. She has a 100% conviction rating. How can he have a 95% success rate or whatever it was? He said that, those are the two highest attorneys in this state, highest rated attorneys in the state. I said, how can that be? They oppose each other. You would think they'd have to split that baby. One would win, one would lose. And he said, well, this is the way it works. Is if you have a high felony and the prosecutor can get you to accept anything, they get a win, a check. They won. If the public defender can get you to take a lesser charge, he wins. So what they do, these two are doing a waltz. They're dancing to keep their ratings high. So the public defender will, in every time, get you to take a plea. Did you take a plea?
I did.
You took a plea. So the public defender who's in bed doing business with the prosecutor, it's a scheme, they're filling up the jails. I think that a proper investigation would demonstrate that the private and government incarceration facilities are funding this scheme. They are trading people like livestock, running cattle through a cattle gate, and they're flesh traders on it. They're flesh traders. The adult flesh trade leads to incarceration. They get so much money, that's why the state has a surplus. Because they're keeping federally funded incarceration facilities full of people who took a plea rather than fight. It's fucking crooked. The judges are crooked, the prosecutors are crooked, the defenders are crooked, and they all know. Many of them know who I am. Can you see how that works? Has anyone ever explained it to you?
No.
You know, probably every single person, fortunate or unfortunate, took a plea. Once you take a plea, you can't undo a plea. I have people contact me all the time saying, I took a plea to get out of there. What can I do now? And I said, well, you can't really back out of a plea. Folks, we are taking great risk here to bring you some rather colorful deceptions from the hoax judicial process you depend on for your civil rights. We need some real-life superheroes to share this presentation at a high level with deep commitment. We want you to be a part of the judicial revolution coming soon. Help us to help you. Share this with the brightest people you know. This is a modern David and Goliath saga. The uncircumcised Philistines will be exposed. The federal judiciary has been weaponized to oppose the nation they serve. Widespread fraud in judicial proceedings are being used to mask a host of judicial racketeering schemes, including schemes by sitting judges committing frauds to conceal motions to impeach the judge and court officers for corruption and offenses. Frauds to suppress material evidence recur often. The lawyers of this nation operating in failure mode are undermining the destruction of this nation. Look at Congress and the Senate, full of lawyers doing what exactly? Attorneys in this country will not risk their career to expose the ongoing repetitive fraud and criminal racketeering by judges and the judiciary. My law career as an attorney, in fact, appears nearing its end. It appears I have nothing to lose. All forms of collaboration opportunities on this project will be entertained. Subscribe and share this video to receive notice and access to the uncut versions as they come available. We have many opportunities to partner and win. Thank you for your patience and participation in advance. There is something for everyone here. Pray for our success. Feel free to create short TikTok loops from this video and share with the world. Post your TikTok loop below the original video for extra traffic and subscribe to receive a special access offer. TikTok loopers, do loops with my Crooked Bastards excerpts and receive an autographed copy of my book, The Answer to Cancer, A Simple Solution for the Western Condition. Bloggers, post your opinion of this epic disaster and tag me in it, and we'll respond in kind and send you an autographed book. You twits on Twitter, share your thoughts and tag a video to stir the broader friends and followers you have. It is time to take back the nation from parasitic politicians. Feel free to demonstrate your IQ below in the comments and engage others. As we move forward dismantling things opposed to your freedom, we look forward to collaboration opportunities with well-grounded podcasters and power media players. Podcasters, I will reveal fresh, hot evidence in any and every podcast interview if you have me on your show. Also, I will facilitate your efforts to more than double your subscriber base. Fighters for justice must come together. Pray for this effort. The criminal operation being exposed is real. They oppose a national and they pose a national and international threat through widespread systematic abuses of civil and human rights. A massive human trafficking effort underlies this enterprise. If you have the ability to notify the FBI or the DOJ, Department of Justice,
please do so. There's a massive cover-up at the Florida governor's office, it seems. This type of color of law scheme in federal judiciary and related entities is a kind of government corruption harming our nation. The citizens have no means to correct it, and the attorneys are complicit with the schemes because they will not risk their career to save an individual case. Massive failures in the fiduciaries and oaths of office exist. Corruption in law enforcement is rampant with no oversight. At the time of launch, this effort is largely founded and funded by book sales. About the time the federal, state, and local government were revealed as unlawfully targeting and drastically violating my human and civil rights, I was launching a series of self-help books, including this one, CO2 and You, A Release from All Sickness. Thereafter, the governments of the world implemented a system to make you wear things to cover your face, which can lead to CO2 accumulation in your breathe there, thus initiating a series of health issues leading to a host of issues explored in this book. Get the Fix, presently on Amazon. CO2 and You, A Release from All Sickness by Ted Whidden and Doc Mathia. Link to the purchase is in the description. Watch and pray about retaliation. High-level corruption in law enforcement is protected through retaliation, framing, extortion, and a host of crimes by law enforcement against citizens as acts of intimidation. Further, those who push unconstitutional concept of proactive patrolling encourages law enforcement to violate your civil rights on the hunch of poorly trained law enforcement. It masks corrupt behavior as a scheme. This is government racketeering. The westr crimes are examples of what can occur through proactive policing. The governor and anyone pushing this agenda appear at war and in violation of the United States Constitution. Corruption at the federal judge level already impedes your civil rights, yet you will not become aware until you need them, and it will be too late. Share this with your favorite attorney. Advise them by joining our efforts they could win. However, remind them that all who oppose me are in fact facilitating a $16 billion RICO, which each individual facilitator is responsible for in full. Watch the drama unfold as we move forward towards launching, towards launching an attorney referral system to address your civil rights issues. We are currently seeking rap music artists and animators or cartoonists for collaborative projects soon to be released. Subscribe and get ready for the rollout. Share this around the world before it can be taken down. If you post this to your social media, then place the link in the comments under the original video. We will reach out to you. Keep in mind, Mr. Whidden is not an attorney. Mr. Whidden is honest, and that may preclude the ability for him to practice law. Whidden has explored legal misdirection and corruption in federal, state, and local judiciary and law enforcement. It is seen as his obligation under USC Title 18, Section 4, misprision of felony statutes to notify officials and to warn others. This method of notice is being tested because every lawful attempt to report has been met by officials who were and are corrupt in facilitating racketeering crimes of others. Mr. Whidden's mental faculties have been questioned by the state in their attempt to obscure their crimes. The federal government is complicit. See the link below. Publicly filed documents and notices have been obscured repetitively by Magistrate Michael J. Frank, Judge Margaret Casey Rogers, Clerk Jeremy Wright, Florida State's Attorney's Office, and others. See link below. Further to this, sheriffs in the region and other corrupt law enforcement began and continue targeting Whidden for pushing back against the color of law crimes against American citizens. See links below. It is with assurance Crimes are widespread and patternistic. If Michael J. Franks is involved, it appears from my perspective there's a crime afoot. See link to impeachment below. Keep in mind, even lawful actions to further interrupt, obstruct, or conceal a person's First Amendment rights to expose a RICO or racketeering crime can result in charges for the RICO or racketeering crime. They're all complicit. There are links under our originally posted video that should serve you well. The best is yet to come.